Number one, I would encourage you to get a dedicated intake specialist. And I've done a video on this before. So if you've been a part of our email series, you may have seen this come out a couple of months ago, but the really only, or I should say, the number one characteristic of an intake specialist, it can really be anybody in your firm. It doesn't have to be your operations person if you don't have one. It doesn't have to be, your receptionist or whatever. Anybody, whoever it is that you assign. By the way, it shouldn't be the lead attorney. I think it's important to have the attorney involved. You can have an intake attorney that's all they do, but there's no way that Chris could be our intake specialist. He's in depositions and doing, the high level stuff that attorneys, yeah, he's practicing law. I mean, that's what he's here to do. So you need to have somebody that can take that off of him, that can function in that capacity. And in my opinion, the number one characteristic this person needs to have is they need to be as invested in the success of the firm as you are. So I am, to the extent that I can be, as invested in the firm as Chris is. And the reason I say that is because they are going to treat your clients the same way that you would treat them. They are going to ask the question. They're going to want to help to the extent that you do. And that's, like I said, number one key. So I would say get yourself a dedicated intake specialist in some capacity. Always good to have the backups, but that's a first step. Number two, I would encourage you to know your numbers. I mentioned before, if you do nothing else, you need to know your numbers. If you're coming into your business from a intake client perspective, marketing perspective, and you don't know where your numbers are, and I don't mean like, oh yeah, we have a good idea where our numbers are. No, I want you to be able to pull a report and say, we're at 20%, we're at 15%, we're signing these from web leads, they're coming here, from social media, they're coming here. Like, you need to know them down to the percentage where you're at, because it's only then that you're going to be able to really know how to kind of fill the gaps in your process. Every firm has gaps in the process. So number three, I think you really need to have a predetermined journey that all of your clients take, or all of your leads, I guess I should say, take. And what I mean by that is when someone picks up the phone and calls your firm, that's probably one of the scariest things that they can do. 99% of the people out there that call us have never been in an injury before. They don't know what they're doing. They've suddenly gotten in a crash, or they've fallen, or whatever the case may be, and they're scared. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know if they're going to be taken advantage of. I mean, there's a lot of they are unsure of what's going to happen next. And if you have a predetermined journey that you can take your leads through, they're going to feel confident that what you're going to do for them is what they need.
And critical to that is in that journey, we have found that you got to get an attorney on the phone for them. There's a lot of firms that just have an intake person. We're talking about an intake person to help with that, but the closure rate on leads, the conversion to what was a lead to wanted case to signed up case. We had went through a period of time where we were getting these leads and we wanted them, and then we weren't closing the deal, and we started looking at it and said, what's changed? And being honest with ourselves, we said, we're not getting a lawyer on the phone that quick, sometimes because we're busy, we got things going on. So we developed some strategies to do that. And that needs to be a critical part of that component. But even if it's hey, how you doing? But there's a note already kind of written, you get them on the phone, and then you can hand them back to your intake person to finish closing